There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchanged.
I haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro?
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Davis stunned everyone by slapping Lamont Roach during a tense face-off. Davis then vowed to break Roach in their upcoming fight as the situation quickly escalated. With neither man backing down, the atmosphere turned electric, fueling their rivalry and setting up one of the year's most heated and personal showdowns. Gervonta Davis has reached a new level of mental and physical commitment, once again under the guidance of his trusted coach Calvin Ford. He's sharpening his skills with quiet, focused determination. But this camp feels different. Unlike before, when the Washington, D.C. circle played a big role, this training setup is tighter and more controlled. With fewer outside influences and stricter information security, there's no chance of strategy leaks. The first fight was clouded by rumors that Roach had inside knowledge of Davis's plan, but that concern no longer exists. The team has eliminated distractions and invested everything into fine-tuning. With Ford back in his corner and his focus locked on redemption, Davis's preparation is building toward a clash far more intense and meaningful than their first encounter.
Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has already proven a commercial hit, selling 150,000 pay-per-view units before fight night. This surge in demand underscores the weight of their rivalry and the public's hunger for resolution. Fans still remember the tension and unpredictability of their first clash, and now wait to see whether Davis reclaims control or Roach steals the spotlight again. The numbers confirm what analysts expected. This rematch isn't just a continuation, it stands as a main event on its own. The figures also highlight the growth of both fighters, who have evolved from rivals into central figures in boxing's ongoing narrative.
1,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top... Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol Better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching him, and Bivol and Better BF do.
Instead of scrapping their original game plan, Davis's team has chosen a smarter path. Refinement over reinvention. Film from the first fight revealed timing issues and lapses in mid-round confidence. Using that insight, they've sharpened crucial elements like attack angles and spacing, targeting the openings that let Roach gain ground. The goal isn't to remake Davis, but to perfect what's already there. Hesitation has been replaced with calculated aggression, making him even more dangerous. His foundation is intact, but his execution is now sharper, cleaner, and far more decisive.
Good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead. Let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got a fighter that listens, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him, you know. All fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter's not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. You gotta hurt. I believe in hurting them. You can hurt. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know.
PD, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many viewed as a knockdown in their first fight may not have been a true sign of Davis's vulnerability. Reports indicate the slip came from an external irritation, possibly caused by a grooming product that affected his vision mid-fight. If true, this shifts the narrative completely. What looked like a flaw in endurance or technique becomes an avoidable distraction. For Davis's supporters, it strengthens belief in his skill and resilience. It also adds urgency to his camp's preparation, making sure no small detail, like product residue, can compromise performance in a fight of this magnitude.
The L, I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont gonna go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he gonna go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that, like Ryan Garcia, somebody that's gonna fold. You going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up. Because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia weighed in on Davis's chances in the rematch with sharp perspective. He praised Davis's natural talent and adaptability, but cautioned that skill alone won't secure victory. According to Garcia, the real fight is mental, blocking out distractions, public scrutiny, personal challenges, and pressure. He believes Davis has all the tools to win, but only if his mind is fully aligned with his body. To Garcia, this rematch is less about technique and more about psychological resilience, demanding total focus and unwavering discipline.
I'll let you go because I know I got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. It looks like it's gonna happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometime. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, and maybe they get a third fight, after that. Who knows? Maybe
it turns to Marcus Pacquiao.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the first fight with Roach, social media buzzed with speculation that Davis might step away from boxing. Instead, he silenced the talk by going straight back into training camp. No words, just action. His push for an immediate rematch spoke volumes about his mindset. He isn't running from the past, he's facing it head-on. That choice has shifted the narrative. Davis isn't fading into doubt. He's seizing control and rewriting his story with determination and purpose.
I want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say neither fighter in here is shitty, okay? Because after the fight I seen on March 1st, yeah, they both was tagging shit. Both getting up with each other, okay? I feel like this is the perfect match. If anybody's gonna do a rematch, you need to be them, period. And Gervonta was stinging him. I'm not gonna lie, he was stinging him. Great fight for him. But I'm not gonna lie, he came out knowing what he was trying to do. Y'all have to give it to him. Like, y'all just be hating, okay? Y'all can't get in the ring and fucking fight. Y'all just be hating. At least I'm giving them enough day props, okay? Because Gervonta had a great fight. Don't get me wrong. My money was on him. But I think what messed him up was the fact that when he came out, y'all know he usually be 2 steps ahead. He was 3 steps ahead. I feel like he already had Tank figured out. And he definitely was not expecting that. And him, on the other hand, I think he came in really having something to prove. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. Like, it was a really good fight, and I feel like this is how I see it. In the beginning of the fight, he was stinking, back to back, you know what I'm saying? And then at the end of the fight, that's when he finally kicked it up. But I seen consistency through him through the whole fight. Not gonna lie, like, so I just feel like the rematch should happen, because never know. He might, now that he was 3 steps ahead, become 8 steps ahead, and he might really knock his butt down. But at the end of the day, it's like, we need this rematch, because I don't think this is ever gonna be a dispute that is settled and, officially he won, he lost until they fight. Like, we gotta see.
Boxing veteran and commentator Teddy Atlas recently gave a deeper breakdown of Davis's skill set. While many focus on his knockout power, Atlas highlighted the finer details: his mastery of distance, rhythm, and calm under pressure. What separates Davis, he explained, is his ability to think inside the ring. He doesn't rush or react impulsively, he calculates. Even when the heat rises, his emotions stay steady, letting him execute with precise timing and control. These mental tools make Davis not just powerful, but especially dangerous when the fight reaches its defining moments.
But we're going to frustrate him. He doesn't get frustrated. He takes his time. He's deliberate. A lot of times at the beginning, people thought he was just a seek and destroy missile. They thought he was just a guy that got to you. And they thought that he would get over anxious. He don't get over anxious. He takes his time. He slowly closes those gaps, inch by inch, step by step, and then he gets to you.
Sports analyst Stephen A. Smith weighed in with his perspective, pointing to a clear mismatch in physical presence between the two fighters. While he acknowledged Roach's sharp technique and ring IQ, Smith stressed that Davis's raw physicality could be a barrier Roach can't overcome. With his strength, reach, and body control, Davis has the tools to blunt Roach's skill set, especially if the fight gets gritty and moves into close-range exchanges. Smith's view highlights that fights aren't always decided by precision alone, but often by pressure, power, and physical dominance.
Just want to throw your way is Gervonta Davis. I know you believe in his skills.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What do you think of his fight with Roach? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think Roach is too small.
Uh-huh.
I think Roach is too small. And that's my issue. I'm not questioning the skill set or anything like that. But it was similar to Frank Martin. You know what I mean? This guy comes in there and you got 18 fights. And I remember watching that pre-fight press conference when he was annoying Gervonta Davis so much and he cussed by accident. Excuse me. He cussed by accident. He was like, "Oh, you know, making this up. He hurt me in sparring," and you know, and I knew Gervonta was gonna come for him, and sure enough, that's what he did. Walked right towards him from round one on. But you know, I remember what he said, and it really, really struck me. Gervonta's a smart dude, bro, and he said you really, really should have waited. You don't have enough experience. You really, really should have waited and took your time before you came to me. And that's what Gervonta Davis told him. And he was right.
In his latest camp, Davis is training with a chip on his shoulder. This rematch is bigger than revenge. It's his fight to reclaim status in the sport. Every critique and doubt has become fuel, driving him to push harder in strength, speed, and stamina. Each workout and sparring round is attacked with relentless intensity. The goal isn't just victory, it's dominance, proving the first fight was an anomaly, not a decline. Davis is preparing like a man with something to prove, and that makes him more dangerous than ever.
Situation. That's why I think he's being hushed right now, because when he come this time, it ain't no talking, and that's why I think it's scary, because we never see Tank in that mode where he don't say a word. I think this gonna be a different Tank. And what's crazy is Tank used to be like that in the beginning, like when he was with Floyd. Like, I'm talking about Tank with the fade, with the waves, bro. He ain't used to be on that showboat and stuff until he got, like, you know, a little bit more in the boxing, you know, thing. Of course, once you with Floyd, you gonna start being flashy and doing backflips off the ring. But in his beginning stages, dude wasn't playing. He was dropping I think that's what he about to go to, bro. And we know that people like, man, did he take Calvin off his team? Nah, like he said, Calvin, his boy. I think he just rocking with somebody else right now to get him some sharper skills, you know, to change up his skill and what people know him by. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I think Tank go take it to Lamont. And that's not me being biased. I think we ain't ever seen Tank like this.
To elevate his preparation, Davis has added Kenny Ellis to his camp, a trainer known for discipline and tactical sharpness. Ellis allows no complacency. Every drill has purpose, and every mistake is corrected immediately. His sessions are structured, intense, and designed to eliminate weaknesses before opponents can exploit them. With Ellis's guidance, Davis is refining the smallest details: footwork, guard shifts, counter timing. This isn't just conditioning, it's strategic fine-tuning. On fight night, having Ellis in his corner gives Davis more than support. It gives him a tactical asset capable of making precise, split-second adjustments.
Is responsible for a lot of the real tactical decisions and tactical analysis that goes on in Gervonta Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents. So to have him talk about what's going on with Lamont Roach, I thought was interesting and insightful, because what he said was that, one, he's not falling for the okie doke. When Mill City asked him, hey, what do you think about the fact that, you know, that Lamont Roach was seen at a basketball game chugging a beer? And I would have added to the question that you see Lamont Roach out giving a bunch of interviews, doing the interview circuit, right? Kind of being a little bit out of character leading into the rematch. Do you think, and this is what Mill City asked, do you think that is something you guys are taking in consideration in preparation for the fight? And what Kenny Ellis said was, look, man, we're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. We know what Lamont Roach brings to the table, and he says that Lamont Roach is we're not believing that he's out there drinking or blowing up a bunch of weight and all of that. You know, he says what most people say, hey, we're going to prepare for the best version of Lamont Roach that is going to, that'll come for us. But the way that he saw the fight coming out was he said he sees it like the fight before, a lot of really crisp shots.
That's all for today's video. Keep it locked here for more updates and coverage as the rematch draws closer.